Hi everyone, this is TJ Clashcraft here, and I'm bringing you with a tutorial on how to make a minecart unloader and loading automatic, so that way when you have farms in your survival world, or not just farms, maybe a chest sorting system, and you want to transport items across your world, maybe a mile that way or a mile that way, you can do so with a minecart, which is very efficient and you don't have to walk it yourself. I do recommend minecart transportation through items. It is very efficient. It is quite easy to do. You just have to know how to make it work for you. First off, let's start with this unloader. So this is just a very common unloader. Very simple. You have a hopper right here with a comparator next to it, and this comparator is going to run into this block with this redstone torch right here, and then this block is going to be next to the redstone torch with redstone on top. This redstone is not powered through this block. It is actually powered through this block over the redstone, so that block is very important. If I remove that block, that redstone loses its charge. So make sure that that block does remain there to keep that charged. What happens when an item enters the hopper? The comparator turns on, which then turns off the redstone torch, and if we turn off the redstone torch, the powered rail loses its power, and the powered rail will not be recharged until the comparator no longer senses items in the hopper. And this hopper is going to send items into this chest right next to it. And so what would happen here is, if we go ahead and put some items into, let me grab some items real quick. We'll just grab 64 gold, and so if I gold ore, excuse me. So if we put 64 gold ore items, we'll first need to activate this cart too. So give me a moment. I didn't put enough items in there. We'll get some more items, but so then we go ahead and activate this this cart, and it's going to be on its way. As you see, it stops over the hopper, and it's going to unload all of the items into this chest down here until the chest is completely empty. And once the chest is completely empty, the minecart chest that is, then it will send it on its way back to the loader. And now there are multiple loaders, automatic loaders in Minecraft. This one is my favorite. I learned these two designs that I'm going to show you guys today through Rex. I believe it's Nano Rex that his name is. He's a YouTuber. The reason why I like this one is because some loaders that you guys see out there, it loads the minecart, however it doesn't stop the minecart from moving, so the minecart will always be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that causes lag in the game if you have a lot of minecarts doing that. And we want to avoid lag. I mean, a good computer could probably withstand that. However, again, avoid the lag. That way you can do more on your own, on your survival world. And so how this works is, the minecart will not leave the station unless something was loaded into it. And how the system knows if something was loaded into it is, items go into the chest, and so these items go in the chest, which then go into the hopper, and that turns on this comparator. And what this comparator does is it turns this redstone torch off, and this redstone torch is powering this redstone dust, and this redstone dust is powering this dropper, and this dropper will send an item into this hopper right here when it receives that redstone charge. And so when that redstone charge hits the dropper, item shoots into the hopper. The comparator recognizes the hopper having an item in it, which then powers this block, and this block will then power the powered rail, and then the powered rail will send it on its way. And that will only happen when this redstone torch turns on, and this redstone torch cannot turn on until this comparator turns off. And as you can see, the redstone torch is on right now, but the powered rail isn't on, because after the dropper sent the item to the hopper sent it back to the dropper, because the dropper will only send one item with the redstone charge and it will not hold the item there. This is important. We want to make sure we have a slab over the hopper. The reason why we have a slab over the hopper is we don't want a redstone charge in the hopper. Otherwise the item would never leave the hopper. We want the item to leave the hopper. That way the powered rail will power off. And so it's a very simple setup. I'm not going to show you guys how to build this one, just because it's 2D. You can go ahead and pause it and build it yourselves. The default with this system is it doesn't have overflow protection. If I were to max out the cart, but there'd still be items in this hopper, therefore the comparator would not shut off. What I recommend doing is placing a lever next to it and manually sending the cart on its way if you want to still go with this design. If you want a design that is fully automatic and has the overdraft protection, I can't think of the word right now, but say you got too many items to put in the minecart chest, then you'll want to use this system, and if you want it to be fully automatic. How it works, and I'm going to show you how to build it too after I show you a little bit about it, is you have this detector rail, which is going to send a power to this powered rail right here. So this powered rail will stay lit, and this powered rail is going to make the minecart move as soon as this fence post moves out of the way. And so to give you an example of the fence post moving out of the way, we'll go ahead and put some items in there. Fence post moves out of the way, and since nothing's unloading in the minecart, that's why it's currently going back and forth, because I don't have an unloader hooked up to it. But basically it can go under the fence post, but it can't go back that way because of how the block works. The fence post block is blocking it with it being angled. And so these two comparators are comparing items inside the minecart chest. And then you have this comparator right here comparing items in the hopper. And the reason why we want items comparing both, because we want that overflow protection. If this minecart is full, we want the system to send it on its way whether this hopper is empty. However, if the hopper is empty and there's nothing left to load and the minecart has items in it, we want it to go take it to the unloading station. So it will release it if the hopper empties, or release it if the minecart gets full. And how it releases it if the minecart gets full is it takes the charge from the amount of items in the minecart and sends it to this comparator. And so we have a redstone torch being sent into this comparator that it's going to compare the charge. This would be a 15 charge, and then this would send out a 15 charge from that minecart if the minecart is full. So therefore 15 and 15 equals this redstone torch shutting off, and because it will send a charge through the comparator to the redstone torch only when it's 15 and 15. So only when the minecart is full, which will then retract this block. And I guess this is a little out of order, but what makes this block so important is when the minecart gets items in it, it's going to depower this redstone torch, which will then make this piston pull back. However, if there's items in this hopper, this comparator will power this block, which will then power the piston. So in a sense, the piston is to remain extended as long as there's items in the hopper, even though the redstone torch back here that's keeping it extended shuts off. And in order for us to get the minecart moving when it gets full is by depowering this torch, which will remove this redstone charge as well. I know that's a little complex to understand, but let's go ahead and build it. So I set up a little rail over here. First off, we're going to want this redstone, this powered rail to be extended. And how you do that, just go ahead and place some rail on top of a block and it makes it go up. And then place a block up here so that the minecart will not run off. It will just stop right there. And next we'll want to put our comparators down. So let's go ahead and put a comparator here. This one goes to the minecart, and then let's put a comparator here, which will go to the hopper. And I am doing this on a creative world, so I can go ahead and fly. And then let's place our hopper down, and so this will load it. And then I will go ahead and get a chest. And then we don't need the block anymore. Well, we don't need the comparator anymore right now. So let's go ahead and grab those. And the rails should be good too. So actually I'll take all the rails out and put those just in case I need them. So now we're going to put a chest on top so that items can load. And got a shift on this top block. If I can do this. There we go. So shift and place the chest, and then after we place the chest, so this is going into the block that is going into the piston. So we'll go ahead and shift place. So this block is going to go into this piston, and this piston is going to go like that, and then attached to this piston will be the fence post. And then this goes into, I believe it's a redstone charge. Let me reload. Nope, it's a block. My bad. So it's gonna, I might have to make some more room here just in case I do. Let's go ahead and extend it out. And so we have the redstone torch up here, which will extend the piston. And then we'll have some redstone charge, and this redstone charge is coming off of this block, not the redstone torch. That is important to know. And then the comparator, which will then go to redstone dust and a torch here, because that way the comparator can compare how full the minecart is according to the charge coming off the torch. And then that will power this block, which will have a redstone torch on it. And then there will be a piston. I believe it's going this way. Yeah, it's going that way. So this piston needs to go right here. So let's go ahead and place some blocks to get it placed. It's gonna crush me a little bit. There we go. And so we don't need those no more. And then let me see if I got everything. I believe we have everything. We do. So if we set it up right, this should work. Let's go ahead and place our minecart and move it in there. And so the minecart's there, and let's go ahead and fill it up with items. And say the items disappear, and it sends it all on its way. Now again, if I had an unloader, it would automatically stop, but I don't have an unloader, and so it stops after it's done. I do promise you that it will send off the minecart if the minecart is completely full of items. I don't want to spend the time showing you guys that today, but these are a few loaders and unloaders. I always recommend this one because this is a simple one. I would only use this one if you have something that you know the chest up here or the hopper will get full before the minecart gets back. That would be situations like say you have a double chest up here and you have an automatic farm, villager farm, where they're farming stuff, or maybe an automatic mob farm where it kills mobs automatically, as such, like a pigman farm. Those things are gathering items as long as someone's near it. Mobs are spawning, and so with those items being gathered, the minecart might have to go 2 miles that way or a mile that way, and it may not get back until this double chest is full. And so with this system, the minecart would never leave the station in that situation, but with this one it would. However, this one seems to work best for me, and so it's the one I like to stick with. One key note for the unloading dock: if the minecart approaches the unloading dock too fast, it sometimes will not stop on the hopper. So if in that situation, if you notice your minecart is not stopping on the hopper, I would go back a few rails and see if you have too many powered rails making the minecart entering the station too fast, and remove some of them so it enters the station a little bit slower. Other than that, you shouldn't run into any issues. Y'all have a great day, and post any comments if you have any concerns that you'd like me to address in another video. Thanks. Bye.